Hello guys, so today I'm making a video about an incident that took place last night. It's going to be a very short video. Last night, for the past couple of days, my phone have not been making phone calls. And the second thing that was happening was that for the past week, all of a sudden, my phone charger, hi, thank you for coming in. Say hi in the chat box. Let me say hi to you. Hi, blessings. Hi. Okay, so tonight I have to retype the subject matter because it's misspelled. So for the past couple of weeks, my phone refuses to make outgoing calls and refuses to get incoming calls. Now it would allow me to get calls coming in from some people, but calls going out and calls coming in from other people would go straight to voicemail. That's what's been happening for a week. The second thing is that for the past week, my charge in my battery all of a sudden started to die out quickly. Like it would be at 100%, and then 3 minutes later, hi, Emmy. Hi. Thank you for joining. Okay, thank you, Emmy. So for the past couple of weeks, the charger, 1 week, the charger has been dying. So I thought perhaps it's because of this new app that I put on the phone. Guys, this is a really great app. I'm going to write the name of the app in the chat box. Okay, so that's the app. It's a really good app. And what it does is it lets you know if you pay, I think it's like $5 more, something like that. It lets you know all the drones that are above you and that are following you, and it gives you the audits on the drones, right? So I downloaded this app and I noticed that like a couple days later, all of a sudden my battery is not holding charge. So I'm like, okay, this is strange. And then there's another app on my phone. I'm not going to give out that app, but there's another app on that phone that lets me know any network that's trying to hack into my phone. It alerts me immediately and lets me know the network that's trying to hack into my phone. So so my battery starts dying. So I'm like, okay, this is really strange. So last night I decided to go out. I wanted to go dance. And I was like, you know what? Let me go out and stuff like that. My phone, literally, when I decided I wanted to go out, my phone literally went from like 60% to like 30% in like 1 minute. And I'm like, okay, this is really crazy. So I said to myself, okay, all right, there's no way for me to charge my phone, but I'm going to go out anyway. I said, I have 30%, I can find out where I'm going. So I decided to turn on locations. And here are some tips. I'm going to give you some tips about how, if you don't already practice these tips, I think you should. And I'm going to give you the tips after I tell you the story. Guys, tell me what you think of this story. So anyway, I decided to go out. So it's not really late. It was like midnight or whatever. And then I bumped into a friend and we were like, hey, you want to go to this other party? So I was like, yeah. Then he decided to go home. So I was like, I'm going to go home. When I got to the location, my phone literally went from like 30% to 15%. And then it died. So I turned my phone back on and then it said 1%. I said, there's no way. I said, I just watched my phone because I was watching my battery very closely and it literally went from 15% to shut off. Like someone remotely shut off my phone. So I was like, okay, that's strange. So I was like, all right, don't worry about it. And the reason why I bought this brand new phone, this phone is 4 months old. This is a brand new phone, guys, 4 months old, is because they started messing with my other phone. My other phone, which is less than a year old, and that too was having a different set of problems. Now, remember the audits that I told you that I had done, and they determined that my devices are hacked, right? So anyway, so I decided to come home. So when I came home, I was on my phone having a conversation. It was like 2 o'clock. I was having a conversation with someone on the phone. So I look out in front of me, and I was sitting down in front of a building, and I look out in front of me and I immediately see this police car. So I hone in on the police car because I was like, okay, now that doesn't really make a big difference to me when I see a police car in my neighborhood because they patrol this neighborhood a lot. And they all know that I live in this neighborhood. All the police officers know exactly who I am. But something said to me, focus on that police car. And I'm going to tell you the conversation I was having afterwards. Remind me to do something. Tips, some tips on phone. I'm going to write this down. And conversation, right? Reminders. 2 reminders I'm going to talk about after I finish telling you the story. So I noticed in front of me there was a fire hydrant, so that area was completely open. But on the other side, it was completely empty. So I noticed that the police car pulls up and like hiding between these 2 cars. So I was like, I said, you know what? Pay very close attention to what's going on. Now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's late. Very few people are outside, and there's always someone outside in my neighborhood. But it was very few people outside. Then I noticed one female Black police officer gets out of the car, and she pretends like she's walking up to the building to like go to the building. So immediately I got up. I was like, I'm not buying this. I was like, I was like, something's wrong. I said, why would they park like they're hiding by a car instead of parking in front of the fire hydrant? They're considered EMT workers, right? Emergency workers, you know? So I was like, that's strange. Or why didn't she just park on the other side of the street that had a big parking lot there? Why block off the street and like hide by like a car? So she noticed the moment she saw that I got up, she immediately got up. She immediately, turned around and she said something, and then she started laughing and running back to her car. So I was like, I was like, something about this situation doesn't look right. So I got up and I started walking towards where I live. And I walked towards where I live. Now she was heading, let's say she was heading east, okay? I was heading west. Now for her to get west, she would have to go and literally make an S. Okay, so I walked and I got in front of my house and I was sitting down in front of my house, and then 5 minutes later, I see the same police car drive past my house, and I noticed it was 2 police officers. Now, before that, I was having a conversation, and this is the conversation I was having, that it was 2 Black female police officers, which for me is really rare in New York because you never see 2 female police officers working together. Number one, I've never seen it. Has anyone ever seen 2 female police officers working the beat together, especially like a late night shift, like 2 o'clock in the morning? I've never seen that in New York City. I've always seen a female police officer accompanied by a male or 2 male police officers. I've never seen a beat where it was 2 police officers. Okay, and what I also found strange is I've never seen a beat where it was 2 Black police officers. That's another thing. I've always seen like black and white, white and black, whatever, or Asian and black, white and black, whatever. I've never seen 2 Black police officers actually working a beat together. So that kind of like alarmed me because I was like, 2 female police officers working the beat at like midnight, this late? All right, whatever. So anyway, so prior to that, I was having a conversation, and this is the conversation I was having. The conversation was about this, and I don't want women to be offended. It's not about physical human women. The conversation that I was having was about an evil female spirit that is now, there are evil male entities, masculine entities. And there are evil feminine entities. And the conversation that I was having was about an evil feminine entity that seems to be taking over a lot of women, making women less compassionate, making women more vindictive, more manipulative, making women more vengeful, making them more retaliatory, devious, just very brutal, you know? And I noticed that, and we were having this conversation about this female entity that seems to be taking over a lot of women and making a lot of women really, really, really evil. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Megan, that was what the person said. Jezebel. Jezebel. And that's what somebody said. And there's another one. There's another one in the Bible. It's called, shoot. I can't remember the name of her. There's the Queen of Heaven. There's Jezebel. And there's a third one that's really wicked. I think it's in the book of Habakkuk. I think it's Habakkuk. I'll go read one of those Bibles, a Bible, and I'm going to find the female spirit. There's another one that's really, really wicked, more wicked. It has more power than Jezebel. Like Jezebel was just an evil woman who was ruler of a kingdom. But then there was a heavenly host entity, it's a female. It's in the book of, is it Malachi? It might be Malachi, one of those short prophetic books in the Bible. And it speaks about, and I'm not religious, but it's a very, very interesting, she's very wicked, this female entity. It's the book where they talk about, he pulled off the cap, and he said, once he pulled off the cap, in it, he saw a woman, and the cover went back on, and then a stalk. I'm glad I'm not the only person. I'm glad I'm not the only person witnessing this. And I found it ironic for like an hour or so. We're having this conversation about this evil female entity that is literally inhabiting, it's coming and it's taking over a lot of women. And one thing I noticed about this female entity is that men do not have the wisdom, they don't have the discernment, and they're no match for this female entity. When this female entity, and I'm not talking about women, women do not get offended. I am not speaking about human women. I'm talking about something spiritual. It's a female entity that's extremely wicked. It is extremely wicked. And one of the signs that you know that this female entity is at work is that she's a master at whisper campaigns. Okay, does everyone know what a whisper campaign is? You know, does everyone know what a whisper campaign is? Type in the chat box if you know what a whisper campaign is. If you don't, it's rumor campaign, okay? Where she will come in, she will come in and she will begin to speak about things about a person that's not necessarily true, but she has the power to make it spread. Okay, like for example, you know, someone says something about someone, it doesn't necessarily spread. But with this kind of entity, when she does, yes, exactly. So when she starts a whisper campaign, somehow this female entity has the power to make it spread. And what I noticed about this female entity is that men are no match for this entity. The only people who can confront this kind of female spirit or could recognize them are women. Okay. The other thing I noticed about this female entity is that when she gets busted, when she gets busted, when you out her, when you recognize it's this entity at work, and you recognize it, and you call her out, and you're like, "Hey, no, you can't do that." There's no remorse. There's no remorse. There's no remorse, right? So when you confront this female entity, one of the things you're going to notice is there's no remorse. Like, you know, like a human being, when, you know, we call them out, they're like, "Ah, damn, sorry, I made a mistake, I messed up. Shit, what I said was wrong, I'm sorry." No, this one will just like, "I didn't do anything wrong," or will literally fight you, or would manipulate you to make you believe you're the person who deserved it, and then brood quietly. It's a brooding spirit. Another characteristic of this entity is that it knows how to save face. Okay? It knows how to save face. It's deeper than gaslighting. Gaslighting makes you believe that something is going on that's not something that is happening, makes you think it's you who's seeing things that's not happening. This entity is a little bit different. This female entity is a little bit different. What she does is she doesn't want to make you think that you're not experiencing that. No, she wants you to know and wants you to experience the damage that she's inflicting on you. She just doesn't want you to know it's coming from her. So another thing about this female entity is that it has it can mask, the veils that I spoke about in one of the videos. Okay, it's very good at veiling. Okay, and by that I mean it knows how to veil their true intentions. You know how some people, they're intuitive. When you're talking to a person, they could sense if you're genuine, or they're instinctive. When you're talking to them, they can sense, is this person being genuine with me? Or some people can look at the person and just look at them and be like, they're lying. These entities have the power to veil. SCGW said that's every Texan. That's hilarious. Oh my God, that's my, wow. Oh, Vicky, I'm so sorry. So it's like, it has the power, this female entity, and I'm telling you, it's female. It's a female entity we're focusing on, right? It has the power to veil. But if you're intuitive, instinctive, prophetic means that you could see spiritually, or psychic, you could see, or empathetic, you can feel emotions. You can tell that underneath the calm, cool demeanor, they are brooding. There's always an inner turmoil. You get what I'm saying? Like you're talking to this female entity that inhabits, it will inhabit women usually. And when you're conversing with this female entity, it will speak to you, oh, you're so lovely, oh, it's so great. And everything they say and the way they look tells you there's nothing wrong. But underneath, your instincts are telling you there's a brooding there. Like there's a churning there, like there's a storm inside of this person underneath. You see what I'm saying? And that storm is usually revenge. It's usually geared towards there's a brooding anger there that this person knows who I am and knows what I'm about. I'm telling you, this female spirit, I've been battling this female spirit, this entity for 31 years. It's a brutal, vicious. It's vicious, it's brutal. And I didn't know what I was battling for many years. Many, many years. I am not talking about human women. I'm not talking about human women. So women need not get offended. Okay, I'm stressing this. I am talking about an entity that could inhabit a woman if she's not careful and use her to do a lot of destruction. Okay, and use her to do a lot of destruction. Okay, another trait of this woman is vindictive. But it's very covert, this female spirit. So I thought last night, so as I'm sitting there and I see this, I said, what's the irony that 2 o'clock I'm having this conversation about this female entity? I said, I've never in my life, 2 female cops just pull up in front of the building where I am. And one of them, she was literally sneaking. She was like, and then I saw her and I looked at her. And I'm like, this woman is not going to this woman is not going to this building. Let me get up. So immediately when I got up, she said something like she knows. And then she laughed. And then she ran back to the police car. So I was like, this is weird. I said, let me just go about my business. And then when I went and I sat down in front of my house, the cop car passed by. And it was 2 women. And I said to myself, I said, am I seeing things? I said, I'm just having this conversation about these female, negative, destructive female entities. Oh, another thing about them. Another thing about these destructive female entities is that their strength in numbers. They use swarm intelligence. I did a video. Go back to the video on swarm intelligence. They usually use swarm intelligence, or network. You know how bees have hives, right? Or ants have colonies. They operate like that. Okay, they don't operate like Jezebel can operate alone. This type of female entity, it needs a network in order to really do the kind of damage that it wants to do when it locks into a person, kind of like the targeting program. When it locks into a person, it usually has to create a network of people in order to execute the plan against the person they're going after. Okay? And the person who's orchestrating it, the person with this entity, is very low key. It doesn't want to get discovered. You understand? And when they get discovered, it's hell to pay. They will smile in your face. They will be, no, it's all your fault. But when they get discovered, they don't fight right away. They brood, and then they come up with a way to destroy you. You know, so just be aware of this, right? So I thought that was really interesting. If I think about any other characteristics, tell me what you think of that story. Having a conversation about this evil female entity that's really, I'm beginning to see this entity enter into more and more women. And I'm just like, I mean, jealousy is one thing, right? Jealousy, you can recognize jealousy, overt jealousy, covert jealousy. You can recognize it. Some jealousies, it takes a lot longer for you to recognize, right? But this goes beyond the kind of beyond jealousy, because it's so evil in the way it operates. It literally does not want to see the person have anything. Like envy is when you want to be that person, when you emulate that person. Jealousy is when you don't want the person to have what they have. It goes beyond that to the point where they literally want to destroy the person or remove the person from the face of this planet or humiliate the person in such a way that everyone around them would laugh at them. You know, that's one of the characters. It's not just jealousy or envy. It's much deeper than that. And I don't know if there's a word in English to really describe this. You know, it's not so much wanting to emulate the person or wanting to have what they have and not want them to have it. It's wanting to destroy them from off the face of the planet. Okay? Psychopathy. That might be the right word to describe this. So psychopathy, right? Okay, so a couple of traits I want you to know about your phone, your cell phones. Okay, I don't know about iPhones, but Androids. Okay, this is a couple of things that you need to do if you have a cell phone. Okay, and you're being tracked. Okay, number one, all of your apps, go into the settings, go into your apps, and all of your apps, okay, except for the major apps, you can restrict what these apps do. Okay, for example, if you have apps on your phone, some apps, you know, you're gonna need to use your cameras. Some apps don't have to use your camera, but in order for you to experience the full functionality of the app, they request that the app get access to your address book, to your camera. Deny, deny, deny. And the app will still work. Okay? Another thing, some apps require that they use your location, but what the apps are designed for has nothing to do with location. Deny, deny, deny. So these are some of the things you can do on your phone. Okay, things like Bluetooth. Make sure your Bluetooth is always off. Let me tell you what also has been happening on my phone for the past 2 days. I would take off my Wi-Fi and only use my data. My phone would automatically put my Wi-Fi back on without me touching it. Okay, this is a serious issue. Okay, because it's showing me my phone. My phone, I would literally click off and just watch it go click on for 2 days. For 2 days, it's been turning on the Wi-Fi by itself. Okay, so what does that tell you? Okay, so here's some tips about how to keep your phone, how to get as much privacy on your phone as possible. You have to restrict apps. If the apps doesn't need your address book, you can deny it and your app will still work. If the app doesn't need to have access to your cameras, only you can determine what you want these apps to do. You can deny it. If the app doesn't need to have access to your phone address book, you can deny the app from having that right. Okay, these are very important tools. Another thing, you want to keep things like maps, Google Maps off. Keep Google Maps off, okay? I hope this information is helping you. Another thing that you want to do, yeah, airplane mode is good when you're not using your phone. The only problem with airplane mode is if someone's calling you or someone's messaging you, you won't be able to communicate with them. Airplane mode is very good, and it's been proven that airplane mode lowers radiation output on the phone. So ME, that's a good call. But the only problem with airplane mode, like I said before, if someone's trying to contact you, you won't be able to get it until you take it off, right? What I'm saying is, if you need to use your phone, these are some of the things you can do, okay? SCGW, who are house bumpers? What's house bumpers? Yes, ME, yes, I can. Yes, I can, absolutely. Absolutely. When you're charging your phone, make sure your phone is away from you and make sure it's on airplane mode. So that's why I said that was a really good one. But when you're using your phone, and there was a guy on YouTube, he got put in this program, but he was actually a communications engineer. And what he did, and I contacted him, but I can't find the damn video. What if I did, I would give you guys the video. Because he was an engineer and a communications engineer, he knew about cell phones. You know what he was able to do? He was able to backdoor into his phone and showed how they were hitting him with frequencies. He found it on his phone and he made a YouTube video about it and how they were able to hit him with directed energy weapons through his phone. And he broke that whole thing down. He's on YouTube. He's an engineer. I think he's somewhere in the central part of the United States. So he was able to show how on his phone, on his computer, he found them, he found the networks, he found the software that they were using, and how they were able to radiate him with his phone and his computer, and how they were able to hit him with directed energy weapons. And he basically like went off grid. He just totally went off grid. Okay, and what I noticed is when I stopped watching television many years ago, that's when they got on my phone networks. And that's when they started hitting me with frequencies on my phone and stuff like that, right? So I think there was some other things I needed to know too. 1 second. There's some other things that I need you to know as well. What you can do with your cell phone. I forgot. Anyway, you can restrict the use. You can restrict the use of some of the apps running on your phones if you don't use it. That's very, very good. Keep your Google Maps off. That's what I wanted to tell you. You deactivate your Google Voice. It's always listening. Google Voice on your phone. Okay, you know, like when you say, okay, Google, it's always listening. And when you go to that app and you open it and you're talking, it begins to manually put in what you're saying. Deactivate that. I deactivated mine. Deactivate your Google Voice on your phone because it's always listening to everything you say. So these are some of the precautions you can use if you're using if you're walking around with a cell phone. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I also want to thank on Patreon. I want to thank my subscribers. Thank you guys for joining me on Patreon. Like I said to you, some of the topics I can't and won't discuss openly here on YouTube for certain reasons. And I'm not going to go into detail about the reasons, but I prefer to discuss it privately on Patreon, right? And it's just a lot better. And there I can go into things that I need to get into. Okay. I'm not gonna go too much into so anyone who wants to know what drones are following them, you could download that. That's a really good app, Drone Watcher, and it tells you they found 5 drones hovering over me in 3 different locations. Okay, so if it can work for me, it can work for you. It's a free app, but the pro, if you want to know exactly what the drones are, the make, the model, the altitude, all these things like the specs, you have to pay like $5 more, I think, something like that. Okay, so that's a good app to have. Okay, Vicky. So Vicky is saying that her child is mean-spirited. She doesn't understand. She wasn't raised in a violent household. This is one of the conversations we were having. What is going on? What is happening? Now, I don't know how old your child is. I don't know how old your child is, and I'm not going to assume if your child is still a minor, if they're a young adult or a grown adult or what. I don't know your age. What I will say is this. One of the conversations we were having last night was, what is doing this? Is it technology that's making women more aggressive, making them more masculine, making them more like, I don't know what it is. You know, is it technology? Is it, vaccinations? Is it the food? Is it hormones? Something is making women more, I don't know if it's the capitalism, the need to be so competitive, because we're fighting for scarce resources and people haven't found the answer. Okay, can you see me? Because they just told me my connection is so-called. Can you see me? So 21. Yeah, I'm not surprised that's the age. Vicky, I am not surprised you said 21. I am not surprised you said 21. So someone said to me, they think it's social media. They think it's cultural, what's the word? Social engineering, which is the music they listen to, because the music is highly coded. I listen to only world music, like the music, the pop and, the kinds of music they listen to is highly coded. And, and it's a lot of codes in that music that subliminal codes in the music. Some are saying it's social media, the advent of social media, where they're showing, now they show this little boy up in the Bronx getting butchered on a video, and this is circulating all over the media. And police are not like, look, this video needs to come down. There's a video of a young boy in the Bronx who was literally hacked to death. And this video is circulating online. And instead of people petitioning, because this little kid's life was precious, petitioning to take the video down, this video is circulating of a young boy under 20 years old or whatever, being hacked to death. So some were saying it was social media, the advent of social media, and how social media is making people less sociable. Okay, so that could be it. And then the other part too is that we in the United States, we are inundated. We are inundated with frequencies that are not normal to the earth. You can thank Nikola Tesla for that. And I know many people love Tesla. I don't. I think Tesla was an enemy. He meant well, but I think he was an enemy of mankind. That's just me. I think he was a covert enemy of mankind, because he should have known the detriment of unleashing this kind of technology in an evil world where the world is run by greed. You should have known that if you tapped into this and the world is run by greedy people who want to control everything and to control the masses, they would find a way to do this in a way that's harmful to people. So the other thing is we are inundated with frequencies, and we're not resonating on the Earth's Schumann resonance or the Earth magnetic resonance. I think it's 432. I might be wrong. I think it's something like 432, and we are much lower than 432. Okay, or 428 or 432, something like that. And we're not resonating on that frequency. They also changed the frequency. That's another thing. It's not, Emmy said 5G will be bad. No, 5G is already up and running. The problem with 5G is that the wave of 5G is much shorter. So they actually have to put the actual device, the 5G device, in order for you to get 5G, they have to put it on the actual structure, which means all that radiation from the 5G is literally, you're drowning in that radiation. Whereas 4G, they didn't have to put it so close to the structure because it was actually a much longer wave. You understand? It's a much shorter wave with 5G. So, yeah. Oh, yes, 5G towers every 3. Yeah. Yeah, and 5G, they're literally attaching it to the structure, to the actual buildings that you live in, So that's another thing, Vicky. So, that it could be a whole host of issues that turning her that's turning her from being more compassionate human being, you know. And I really don't know what to tell you to correct that issue. But it could be social engineering, it could be food, it could be it could be vaccinations, it could be hormone disruptors. There's so many hormone disruptors, or it could be worst of all frequencies, which is the worst because you can't even trace it without really expensive equipment. You know, so that's something you have to think about. So, you know, I'm glad I'm not the only person that's noticing that this trend, and this is what I thought was ironic, you know. I think, and I'm going to say this as a side note, I noticed that since this young lady, Meghan Markle, joined the royal family, there's this whole influx of not just how to be a royal, but there's this influx of public decency that's coming back. Like there's a shift coming back to the United States where for some time, for like 20, 30 years, it has been pure degeneracy, you know, in terms of music, in terms of culture, in terms of social mores, this and that and the other. And then you see this Meghan Markle, who's an American, right? American born, even though she lived in Canada, American born young lady. And now all of a sudden there's a shift to like things like public decency, etiquette and courtesy and minding your manners and style of dress and all these kinds of things. So it's really interesting, this whole, you know, this whole public dynamic. It would be nice if women could go back to being, you know, caring and like really respectful of each other and compassionate and these kinds of things. But I'm telling you, I've been noticing this for like, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. That there's this degenerate female entity that is really taking over a lot of women and causing them some turning to be just wonderful. You know how women, they're very communicative, very like, you know, they're very social. They love to be around women, to just non-stop catfighting and non-stop problems. And I'm glad I'm not the only person who okay, so Emmy thinks it's neurological brain frequency entrainment. I agree that's definitely part of it. You see, Megan, I can't disagree with that. You know, that whole social media and the image culture and that kind of thing. So she's saying it's they don't have a soul, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. Okay, so you asked if she wants to go to counseling. You see, that's the other thing too, you know, she's 21 and, you know, asking a 21-year-old to go to counseling, a 21-year-old has to go and make the mistakes. Hopefully the mistakes are not so bad that it's going to cost them. They have to go and make mistakes. And then when they get to like 30, and they get more developed and they more understand the world and they realize how the world works, then you can bring to them counseling. But it's very difficult to get young people to agree to counseling, you know? Oh, Vicky, see my other videos about what goes on in these churches and the types of mind. Now you answered the question. See my other videos about what goes on in these churches and the kind of mind control they put them under in these churches that make them hate their own family members. See my past videos. You just answered the question. So it's religion. Hive mind technology run by psychopath. Yep. Yeah. So I experienced it, and I been experiencing this evil female entity for a very long time. It's a hunting. It hunts you. Once it sees you as an enemy, it hunts you. It's unrelenting. You know, it doesn't get tired. It's like an unrelenting, miserable, stalking type predatory entity. It's always looking for a way to one-up you, always looking for a way to destroy you or humiliate you or something nefarious. It doesn't have good intentions for you. You always have to like have one eye closed, one eye open around this female entity. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm glad I'm not the only person. I'm glad I'm not the only person who sees this, you know? Yeah, Vicky. Yeah, but Vicky, you mentioned the church. There's the problem. Not because it's a church, it doesn't mean that they're good people. You just gave the answer. You said she goes to church every Sunday. I'm telling you, you'd be very surprised. That's the video I wanted to make earlier. Now, I wanted to make a video earlier. I'm going to keep this short. I got 5 more minutes before I have to run. Hold on. Okay. I wanted to make a video earlier, and I'm going to go into more detail about this. I did some research years ago. How many of you have been inside of church? Show of hands, show of fingers. Yes. How many of you have been inside of a church? Do you know, and I've done my research on this, do you know that churches take out insurance on their members, life insurance on their members? How many of you know that churches take out life insurance on their members? Especially if you're elderly or if you're sick. And this is what they do to raise funds when they have a new project. How many of you? And then use the death benefits to pay it off. Well, I've been doing some research, and I discovered that there's a lot of insurance fraud where churches take out life insurance on their members. Okay? I cannot do that video here. But it's just food for thought. Because one of the first things I was told when I realized I was put into these horrendous programs was life insurance, life insurance, life insurance, life insurance. Find out. And then I discovered that churches take out life insurance out on the elderly, and they take out life insurance out on anyone who's sick, and they have life insurance. Okay? So how many of you have been put into these programs by churches? How many of you have been put into these programs by evil demon-ass, not churches, but evil demon people inside of these churches? You may want to check to see if there's a life insurance policy out on you, like a dead peasant's insurance policy out on you. You may want to check. Oh, wow. Okay, so Paul said, I have a chip in my head after hair transplant. Okay, so this is another video that I have to make, but I can't make these videos here. I can't. I told you already, I'm not making these videos here. Another thing, but I'm going to give you the information. I'm just going to tell you, guys, to disable the implants, you need an EMP device. To disable the implants, you need either an EMP chamber or an EMP device. There are places around the world where they have EMP chambers, okay? I'm not going to say where, because I can't say it on here, because you know there are a bunch of perps, but there are places where they have entire EMP chambers, and you go into the chambers and they crank up that device, that EMP device, and it shuts down all the implants permanently. Because some of the implants that's inside some of us are so powerful, magnets don't do it. I bought every kind of magnet, and it shuts it down for a couple of hours, and then it goes right back up. And I did it for years. Every kind of neodymium magnet. I got pull, push, force, 500. It doesn't work. Listen to the keywords I'm giving you. EMP chambers, the EMP rooms, electromagnetic pulse rooms, or PEMP, pulsed electromagnetic, what is it called? Pulses. And what it does is they shut down all the implants all at once. Okay? That's the first one. EMP chamber, EMP rooms. You can go Google it. I don't want to say too much on here. Or you can get an EMP device that's very strong, and that would be able to shut down, permanently shut down the implants. Okay? Yeah. So that's, yeah. See, that's the way it's designed, Paul. It's designed when it comes to the implants, they did it in such a way where People will believe the stalking, people will believe the harassment, they'll believe everything. But the moment you talk about implants, they're like, implants, aliens, you're nuts. They designed it that way. Okay? To knock out the implants, EMP devices. To get rid of the radiation, detoxing through your skin, detoxing through your intestines. Okay? Do not shield if you're not detoxing. And by detox, I mean you're pulling the parasites out of your body, you're pulling the free radicals, you're getting the free radicals out, and you're getting the radiation and the toxins and the bad hormones out of your body, and the plastics and all of this shit, the tar, the nicotine, all that shit out of your body. Okay? And then you're putting vitamins back in the skin and remineralizing the body. Okay? That is what I mean when I say detox. Okay? You do it through your skin, you do it through your intestines. If you are shielding and you're not detoxing, I'd be very surprised if your shielding actually works. Okay? Yeah, so that, yeah, you have an implant. Yeah, that's what, yep, once a month, MD, once a month. Once a month. Okay? Now, I don't want to go into too much detail. I just cannot do that. Say certain things on YouTube here. Okay? So, yes, if you are shielding and you are not detoxing, it's counterproductive. You have to detox. Okay? You got to get the garbage out. You got to keep the garbage out. And then you shield. Okay? But to get rid of these implants, there's only one way. You have to get an EMP device. They're EMP chambers. I'm going to give you a hint. One of it is in Mexico. That's all I'm going to say about it. They have EMP rooms. I think the cost is like $500. And they put you in a room, turn it up, and it blows out all the implants at once. You didn't hear that from me. Okay? I can't say this on you, these things on you. You understand why I'm not saying these things here? That's all I will say about that. Okay? I'm not saying anything else. The nanotech, exactly. So to answer your question, Paul, I just gave you one of them. Okay? But if I go to Mexico, they'll probably walk me. I think, it is GPS. It's called Wireless Body Area Networks, Paul. Thank you, Shea. Oh. Yeah, it's called Wireless Body Area Networks. Okay, got it. Why? Okay, got it. Okay, don't think negatively. Just, if you could find a way to, it's called Wireless Body Area Networks. Okay? Wireless Body Area Networks. Okay? It's called Wireless Body Area Networks. Paul, if you want, give me email me. Okay, unfortunately, I have to get going. They do the same to me. Paul, email me. Okay, so that's my email above. Email me. Okay, I don't want to say again, I'm not saying too much on YouTube, on ScrewTube. Okay, so EMP devices, it's the only thing that works to knock out the nanotech. It's the only thing that really, when the nanotech is literally embedded in the fatty tissue. You see what I'm saying? It's one thing when it's circulating in the bloodstream. It's one thing it's when it's on a surface area where it can easily be flushed out. It's another thing when it's actually embedded in the tissue or embedded in muscle or something like that. It literally has to be surgically removed. And that's probably what you're having. So you literally have to get it, either surgery, but in order to do that, you have to knock this out. Okay? I gave you my email, Paul, right? It's in your ear, so you're probably getting tinnitus. So again, EMP devices, okay? EMP devices. If I could get the voltage and tell you what voltage you need, I'll probably try to find out, but there are EMP chambers, EMP rooms, these things are guaranteed to knock these things out 100%, right? Sure, you can email me. I did, yes, that just put subject YouTube or something. YouTube question, YouTube page question, right? In the subject line. So that way I could give it priority, okay? All right, so I'm not making this video very long. It's already 50 minutes. That's fine. Guys, if you're emailing me, use paragraphs, okay? Use paragraphs when you're emailing me, okay? When you're writing, don't write one long, because people write out these long, and that's very difficult to read. Write paragraphs, keep it succinct, keep it straight to the point. Don't run on. If you have to ask me a question, give me a little bit of detail, background question, right? Don't make it like I'm reading, and I'm like, where's the paragraphs in this? Because it's like, you know, so please, when you're writing an email to someone, especially with matters like this, use paragraphs, keep your paragraph short, and get to the point, right? All right, so right. So what I'm gonna do for the next couple of days is I'm gonna go on a water fast. Okay, I'm gonna go on a water fast. If anyone wants to join me on a 7-day water fast, I'm gonna go on a water fast, and I wanna do some combination prayers and water fast. That's what I'm thinking to do for the next 7 days, right? Okay, Jose. Okay, so Jose is from Brazil, and Jose is saying that I feel that you see, okay, I don't know, Malefico de admiração, está vivo, to do. Okay, I couldn't finish the complete sentence, but he's saying that he believes, he feels, I feel that you seem something, and there's admiration, something, the way you live. I can't think of, and I just started reading it, and immediately the implants blocked me off from understanding Portuguese. So Jose, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to translate that later, okay? Oh, Vicky, oh, that's a video I wanted to make, but I gotta get running, and I'm gonna talk about weight gain and these freaking implants and what you can do about it. I have 36 pounds of weight that I gained as well. About 30 pounds of weight that I gained from these implants. Yep. I'm gonna do a water fast. I no. Hold on. Oh, you can't see those videos? Okay. Just email me. Right, that makes sense. That's so true. No, but when I say water fast, okay, better yet, a liquid fast. Not water, but liquid. It's just liquid for like a week, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm working towards it, ME. Are you a vegetarian? I'm working towards veganism because I just want to be able to understand what I'm eating. You know what I mean? So I need to be able to identify what I'm eating. You know, and I'm not gonna say too much on that here. Shay, next video, I'm gonna do weight gain and implants. Right? So, okay, unfortunately, I'd love to say, but I have to get running. I'm gonna write that down about weight gain because I gained 30 pounds. Okay, for this week, what I wanna do is for you guys, okay, I'm gonna do some videos, weight gain, hold on. Weight gain and implants. I'll tell you what I think about that. I think that obesity, that American obesity is not because Americans are lazy. I don't think so at all. But this week, what I want to do is I want to do a 7-day liquid fast, all types of liquids. You know, if you want to join me, The weight gain, I don't want to say that here. It's a combination of things, but I think the obesity epidemic in the United States is definitely fake and it's not Americans' fault. I'm not seeing anything else. Go do your homework and you figure out what works best for you. I don't want to say that here. I'm just being really careful about what I say because you know who's on these videos. You know who's on, Yeah, but you gotta prove it though. That's the thing. You have to prove it, right? So what I want to do this week is I want to do a liquid fast, but I want to do liquid fast and prayers. Okay, 7 days liquid fast combined with prayers, different kinds of prayers. I pray to the universe. Okay, if you pray to Allah, I don't mind. If you pray to Jesus, I don't mind. I pray directly to the universe, and I pray specifically to specific liquid fast, liquid. So whether it's juice, it's water, it's vegetable juice, it's whatever, liquid. Okay, that's good. Great spirit eagle in the sky. Well, do you, right? So I just go straight to the universe, right? Yeah, mine is because, these things are set up to ping. There's a whole back system behind the internet that it listens for keywords and it pings and it activates certain agencies, So that's why. So if anyone wants to join me this week, starting tomorrow, love you, Cece. If anyone wants to join me in a liquid fast starting tomorrow, Vicky, it's mostly doctors who do this. Mine, I believe, was my gynecologist and an old dentist. Okay? Yeah. So if anyone wants to join me to go on a liquid fast, any kind of liquids, I mean, you're not going to take a steak and boil it down and then crush the steak and make the steak a liquid and say you're on a liquid fast, right? So I'm going to go on a liquid fast, but I'm going to do a liquid fast and I'm going to do some prayers for 7 weeks. Okay? So if you want to join me, starting tomorrow, we're going to do it. Okay, yeah, that's Paul Wilton. Cece, some people are going to look at like a steak and potatoes and then say, oh yeah, like, blend it up in the blender and then like, no, 7 days, not 7 weeks, and then blend it up in a blender and be like, they're on a liquid fast, right? Yeah, hilarious. Okay, so let me get going. Okay, so if I'm not back too late, I'll probably make a video tonight and I'll talk about some other things. Love you, Cece. Thank you, guys. If I'm not back too late from doing what I have to do, I'll probably make a video tonight so we can have some fun tonight. If not, we're going to start a video tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think we should do I'm going to do a little, I'm going to do a liquid fast. Let's try this. Those of you who can, great. Those of you who can't, just skip one meal. For one meal, just do like liquids, right? All right, I got to end this. Peace out. Thanks, guys. Okay.